Tourism in Thailand is collapsing while Vietnam, Cambodia, and even China are hitting record highs. If you've been dreaming of Thailand as your escape, you need to hear this before you book that ticket. Look, I've been living here for years making these videos, watching the patterns, and what's happening right now, it's not just some seasonal dip or temporary setback. This is a fundamental shift that could completely change what Thailand means for Western men. Because what's happening here isn't just about fewer tourists. It's about whether Thailand is still the cheap paradise men think it is. Get this wrong, and you could waste thousands chasing a dream that no longer exists. So let me break down exactly what's going on, why it's happening, and what it means for you, whether you're planning to visit, move here, or you're already living this reality like I am. All right, let's start with the hard facts because the numbers are brutal. Thailand's tourism ministry forecast 39 to 41 million visitors this year. Reality check, they're now struggling to hit 33 million, and we're already in the back half of the year. By August, they'd only hit about 20 million visitors year to date. And here's the kicker. We're heading into September and October, which are traditionally the slowest months. Those are the months when Thailand basically goes to sleep, tourism-wise. Now, if this was just a global travel decline, you could understand it, right? But here's where it gets interesting. While Thailand is bleeding visitors, every country around it is breaking records. Vietnam is up 25% year over year. Laos, bro, is up 28%. Cambodia's up 16%. Malaysia's up 20%. These aren't small numbers, man. These are massive shifts in where people are choosing to spend their money and time. So the question becomes obvious. Why is Thailand bleeding while every country around it is booming? What's so fundamentally broken here that people are actively choosing to go anywhere else? Let me start with something that hits every single one of you guys in the wallet, the exchange rate reality. If you're American, like most of my viewers, 10 years ago, you were getting about 32 baht to the dollar. Now, you're getting around 35, which sounds better, but here's the catch. Thai prices have inflated way faster than the baht exchange rate improved. Everything costs more in baht terms, so even with a slightly better exchange rate, you're still paying significantly more for everything. Same story if you're British, European, Canadian. Local Thai inflation has outpaced currency benefits. Thailand isn't cheap anymore. It just used to be. Thailand now has the highest ATM fees in Asia, 220 baht every time you pull money out of a machine. That's about $6 just to access your own money. And hotels, food, entertainment, it's all creeping into Western pricing. I'm seeing bars in Bangkok charging more for a beer than you'd pay in most American cities. Restaurants where a simple meal costs more than what you'd spend back home. Men came here to feel like kings. Now they're realizing they're not kings. They're customers, and not even respected ones. Thailand was supposed to be the cheap escape, right? The place where your Western salary made you feel rich, where you could live like a king on a middle-class budget. But money isn't the only issue. It's the feeling of being played. And that feeling, brother, that's what's really driving people away. Here's what happens when the mask comes off. You realize you're not experiencing Thailand, you're experiencing tourist Thailand. And tourist Thailand is designed to extract maximum cash from you in minimum time. Dual pricing is everywhere, but it's not just the obvious stuff like tourist versus local temple fees. I'm talking about the subtle scam that happens every single day. You want a beer? 41 baht at 7-Eleven. Same exact beer at a tourist bar, 250 baht. That's not markup, bro. That's robbery with a smile. Food truck near my apartment where locals eat, 60 baht for pad thai. Same pad thai in Khao San Road, 180 baht. Same cook, same ingredients, different skin color of the customer. Here's how insane it's gotten. Vietnam's rooftop cocktail bars are cheaper than Bangkok's street beers. Let that sink in. And here's the thing that really gets to me. That moment when a man realizes he's being seen as a walking ATM, not a human being, that's when paradise starts to feel like a scam. Now contrast this with what I experienced in Vietnam recently. Tourist areas, walking streets, popular bars, the prices were consistent everywhere. You might pay a little more in the fancy spots, but you're not getting charged triple just for being foreign. Vietnam treats you like a customer. Thailand treats you like a mark. And smart travelers are starting to figure out the difference. And it's not just backpackers feeling this. Even the Chinese, once Thailand's biggest customer base, are walking away in massive numbers. This is the part that should terrify the Thai tourism industry because the Chinese were their bread and butter. Pre-pandemic, Thailand was welcoming 11 million Chinese tourists every year, massive numbers. These weren't budget backpackers. These were middle-class families spending serious money. This year, They're on track for maybe 3 million, maybe. That's a collapse, not a decline. And here's what's really interesting. Thailand eliminated visa requirements for Chinese tourists, made it easier than ever to visit. Didn't matter, they still stopped coming. Why? Safety concerns that went viral on Chinese social media, high-profile kidnappings, scam stories, taxi rip-offs, all of it amplified and shared millions of times. In China, Thailand's reputation went from exotic paradise to dangerous tourist trap. But there's another factor that nobody talks about. Domestic Chinese travel has exploded. Their high-speed trains are incredible, their cities are futuristic, their hotels are world-class, and it's all cheaper than coming to Thailand. When Chinese families look at Bangkok versus Shanghai or Chengdu and think their own backyard is cleaner, safer, cheaper, and more convenient, that's not just bad PR for Thailand, that's a death sentence for mass tourism, and nothing sums up Thailand's bigger problem better than its taxis. Let me tell you about Thai taxis because they perfectly represent everything wrong with Thailand's approach to tourism: refusal to use the meter, inflated fares for tourists, playing dumb when you ask for a reasonable price. This isn't just about transport. This is about a mentality that's poisoning the entire industry. Here's the thing. I don't even care about the money anymore. It's about what that interaction represents. It's a local person looking at you, seeing dollar signs instead of a human being, and deciding to rip you off because they can. It's the assumption that you're too stupid or too rich to care. It's the complete breakdown of basic respect and honesty. And every single tourist feels this. They might not say anything. They might even pay the inflated fare, but they remember. They remember being treated like a walking ATM, and they don't come back. Thailand's tourism model has become like that greedy taxi driver. Grab the quick cash now. Who cares if the customer ever comes back? Extract maximum value, provide minimum respect. You know what happens when you build an entire industry around that mentality? Exactly what's happening now. People stop coming. And for men who are thinking about staying long term, this isn't just a holiday problem. It's a lifestyle trap you need to understand before you commit. So, what does this mean for you? Whether you're visiting, moving, or already here, there are opportunities. If you're an expat or planning to become one, landlords are suddenly willing to negotiate. For the first time in years, I'm seeing rental prices come down, lease terms get more flexible, there's less competition for the good apartments, visa offices are less crowded, government services are moving faster because there are fewer people in line, immigration officers are less stressed, which makes the whole process smoother. Local businesses are trying harder to build relationships instead of just extracting quick cash. The places that survive are the ones providing real value, real service. If you're planning to visit as a tourist, you're going to get better service because businesses are fighting for every customer. Fewer crowds at attractions, more authentic experiences available because the surface level stuff is struggling. Here's where it gets dangerous if you're not prepared. Some businesses are cutting corners to maintain profits. Quality is declining because they're trying to squeeze more margin out of fewer customers. Desperation is making some areas genuinely less safe. When people are struggling financially, petty crime goes up. The expat scene is getting more bitter and negative. Guys who built their identity around cheap paradise are angry that the paradise part is fading. Look, Thailand is still incredible if you adapt to the new reality. But if you come here chasing the old fantasy, the dirt cheap paradise where your Western passport makes you a king, you're going to get burned. You need to understand what you're walking into. This isn't 2015 anymore. This isn't even 2020. This is a Thailand in transition, figuring out what it wants to be. So the real question becomes, what does Thailand want to be in the future? What we're seeing here isn't just about tourism numbers or exchange rates. This is Thailand going through an identity crisis. The country is caught between two worlds. On one hand, they want to modernize, develop, join the ranks of developed nations. On the other hand, they want to preserve traditional culture and maintain the exotic appeal that brings tourists. But you can't have both. You can't be a modern, developed country with modern prices and still market yourself as a cheap, exotic escape. The government seems confused about what they actually want. They talk about attracting high-quality tourists, while their industry is still built around volume and extraction. There's this fundamental tension between chasing mass tourism money and protecting local culture, and right now, they're failing at both. I'll be honest with you guys, part of me is relieved that it's quieter here. The Thailand I fell in love with was never the tourist circus it became during the peak years. The real culture, the real people, the real experiences, they were always away from the crowds. But I also feel for the hard-working Thai people who depend on tourism and get dragged down by the scammers and the greedy operators, the street food vendors, the small hotel owners, the tour guides who actually care about showing you their country. They're paying the price for an industry that forgot about building relationships. Thailand still has magic, but it's no longer automatic, and if it doesn't adapt, men will keep voting with their passports. So, here's the bottom line for you. If you're thinking about coming to Thailand, do it sooner rather than later, before more policy shifts, before more changes that make it even more complicated or expensive. But come with realistic expectations. Focus on building real relationships, not just consuming tourist experiences. Learn some basic Thai. Locals are way more receptive to foreigners who make an effort, especially now when they're not overwhelmed with masses of tourists. And respect the economic reality. Understand that many Thai people are struggling right now, that the tourism industry is under pressure, that your behavior as a foreign visitor actually matters. Don't come here expecting the Thailand you saw 5 years ago. That version is gone. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Are you still planning to come to Thailand after hearing all this? Have you noticed these changes if you're already here? What's your experience been like? And for my Thai viewers, because I know some of you watch these videos, how are you feeling about everything that's happening? What do you think Thailand tourism needs to change? The best insights always come from you guys sharing real experiences, not just opinions. Thanks for watching, man. If this helped you see the situation more clearly, hit that like button. See you on the next one. Peace.